What's up, folks? Welcome to Ontario History Vlogs. Thank you very much for tuning in. Today I'll be talking about a cemetery that once existed in San Antonio Heights. Now we're talking about a long time ago in the early 1880s, before electricity, stores, there was no cemeteries around, so you had to bury your loved ones somewhere, and it being in your very own backyard was pretty common. Bellevue Memorial Park Cemetery here in Ontario, one of Southern California's oldest cemeteries, wasn't laid out until 1891. An old cemetery indeed, but people were passing away even before then. So a small cemetery was laid out on 25th and Mountain Avenue in San Antonio Heights, and it's believed that some of Upland's pioneers were buried there. No one really knows who was buried there. There was a lot of headstones and wooden crosses, but over time they were washed away, especially being next to the San Antonio Canyon. It wasn't until the 1950s when a homeowner who was plowing her 7-acre garden discovered the cemetery in her own backyard. Crazy. When it was discovered, only 5 headstones and a wooden cross remained. Since then, they all have been washed away, but one headstone was saved with the name T.G. Smith, who was an Easterner suffering from tuberculosis and was urged in a letter by the Chaffee brothers to move to Upland since the air quality is a lot better. So Mr. Smith did just that, and once he arrived to Upland, the Chaffee brothers helped him construct a 1-bedroom house on 25th Street on the very site of the cemetery. Unfortunately, Mr. Smith passed away at the age of 39 in 1883 due to his tuberculosis, and he was buried here at the cemetery, now his backyard. He had a wife and daughter who lived there at the house with him but returned back east shortly after his death. Mr. Smith's daughter was only 7 years old by the time of his death. She returned back east with her mother shortly after it. Later on in life, she became an artist, and in the 1950s, she had an art show in Claremont. She flew to Claremont, and once the art show was done, she wanted to visit her father. So she went back to her former house on 25th Street, and the gravesite was still there. And in fact, it was the only one existing. All the other ones were long gone. Fortunately, she was able to visit his gravesite several times before she passed away. Now fast forward to the 1980s, the city went up there to relocate the headstones, but unbeknownst to them, they were all gone except for one. That one being T.G. Smith, so they took it out of the ground and relocated to Bellevue Memorial Park in Ontario. But the city just relocated the headstone, not the body. In fact, all the bodies that were buried there then are still buried there now. And since the range from San Antonio Heights to Ontario is over 140 years old, there too can be a cemetery in your backyard. Thanks for watching, everybody. I am Jerry James with Ontario History Vlogs, reminding you to live, learn, to explore. Until the next time, see ya!